Okay.
All right, everybody, we are live and I am excited to be here this evening. I'm Pamela with Business Concepts Accelerated. I think I need to turn off my YouTube just to get that out. There we go. And we are live. Hey, and my first guest is here with me. I'm excited because I have 3 guests joining me this evening, and we are talking about the strength of our mental acuity and all that goes around that and into that. There's so much going on right now in today's world, and I really want us to have a good conversation about it. So BCA is here. We are supporting the CEOs that we support. And it is keeping our mental in check is something that we've got to be just cognizant of, right? We've got to just keep that in mind. And with that being what's going on this month, I am bringing to the stage, first of all, my dear friend, Miss Riki Smith. So Riki, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here, lady.
Hello, Pamela. Hello. It is an honor and a pleasure. Hi, everyone.
Hello, you look beautiful, my dear, beautiful.
Thank you. I try. I'm so excited for your event.
Thank you. Well, please just introduce yourself. No one can do it better than you if you'll just let the people know who you are.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Riki Smith. I am the owner of Friends of Powerhouse of Expression. We are a nonprofit. Excuse me. I just drank some water and it went down the wrong pipe. I apologize.
No
But I'm the owner of the Friends of Powerhouse of Expression, which is a nonprofit, and we focus in mental health. Our goal is to build the first social franchise dedicated to mental health. We want to use up to 20 different forms of therapies, and we want it all under one roof. And so at the moment, we are working with book drives, healing circles for the elderly. We're starting online expos for mental wellness, and we're going to branch on from that. We're also working on getting a truck, a mobile outreach truck, so we can meet people on the ground where they need us most. We're doing a whole bunch of things, so I'm very excited to be here.
Good, good, good. Thank you so much. And we'll learn a little bit more about you along the way as well. We'll have all of your credentials and everything so people can find you after the broadcast as well. But let's jump right in. I have a couple of questions that I'd love to get your feedback on. And I know the theme of the day surrounds functioning people who suddenly find themselves a little bit off kilter. And then that even goes to the spectrum. The other side, sometimes you find yourself, with extenuating circumstances, and that person who's just has something deep rooted going on, and you just never know how before it manifests to something we don't, want or that we don't want to, can't deal with. I really just want to ask you, how does trauma happen, from one end to the other, and again, we're talking about it either sneaking up on you or that person that's really dealing with something.
Well, trauma normally takes place through a precipitating event, and the precipitating event could be anything from stubbing your toe to losing a loved one. We never know how we're going to deal with different things that happen in our lives. All we know is that we're alive and things are going to happen. And because society and our parents teach us, suck it up, deal with it, figure a way out, don't fall and stay down. You get back up when you fall down, because that is pushed into us as a strength. A lot of the time, trauma happens when we just turn off feelings altogether. We refuse to look at something, or it was so damaging that we can't get it out of our minds, and we end up going into PTSD and things like that, post-traumatic stress disorder. But all those different things happen unexpectedly because we truly expect to be able to handle anything that comes our way until we find out that we can't. And then we need help.
until we find out that we can't. And then, you know, it's too late, or, you know, we're, you know, hurting ourselves or loved ones, saying, lashing out. It manifests in so many ways, right?
Well, one thing we want to remember is that it is never too late. There is always room for growth, and help begins when you ask for it. Nothing grows without water, so we all need to release that valve sometimes.
Yes, yes. I know we talked a little bit in regards to the precipitating or triggering events, and you touched on that. I guess, you know, I don't know if this is a good question or not, but what qualifies as such?
Precipitating event can be anything that causes you to have a series of reactions to something that already happened. Okay. It's already over, and you're still reacting to it. You're still seeing it in different areas of your life. That would be a precipitating event. And a lot of times people have to go through the 5 stages of grief or the 5 stages of change in order to deal with it. Either way, those stages do take place, but sometimes they're fast and sometimes they're slow. And sometimes you can get stuck in a stage, like you can get stuck in anger, or you can get stuck in depression. But you do need all 5 stages in order to make a change or in order to get through grief.
Okay, so I definitely want to kind of touch on that a little bit more, and really just how does one recognize the fact that they are in need of that change. I know, you know, people go through depression bouts and things like that, and they need to pick themselves up, and maybe you just have to look in the mirror and just be honest with yourself. So, but the other people don't, you know, they don't understand where this anger is coming from. They just, and they live in it, and then maybe they love it or something, I don't know. But, you know, there's that spectrum as well. It's like, if there's 5 stages to make a change and get out of it, oh my God, you know.
And we go through those stages all the time, whether we know it or not. We're constantly doing it. Insofar as, you know, how to find out whether or not you need help. It's very, very hard to tell that when you're in the middle of it. It's hard to see what it looks like from the outside when all you can do is feel it. That's why it's so very important to have a network. And your network can be your family, your friends, somebody who is a professional, even who can help you, somebody with a listening ear who can hear something happening, and somebody who's not just going to co-sign your stuff just because they love you. They can tell you, oh, that's not very bright what you're about to do right there. There's another way to look at this. And when you have that, then you have a chance to know that you need some help, and you know where to get it. You can definitely get it here. The Friends of Powerhouse. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, we touched on a little bit of the different types, you know, of, you know, that can be addressed, meaning depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety, PTSD, panic attacks, and things of that nature. I guess, you know, and then we just touched on what type of internal check-ins we could look within ourselves, and you talked about having a network of people, you know, because it starts and ends with us, right? It just, we have to be the ones that monitor that. This month being Mental Awareness Month, you know, I kind of take that as, you know, October being, you know, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we go to check our breasts and make sure, you know, if you don't do it any other time, what's going on in the industry to ask people to check in on themselves? Do you know kind of what?
Oh, like, wow. Ever since COVID, there has been so much anxiety and isolation. You know, you see online now, people asking for help and people finding help. You used to have to show up in person. Now you can go online, you can go to Zoom, you can go to different platforms, and you can meet with your practitioner, your doctor, your nurse, your therapist, your expressive therapist, your alternative therapist. And all those different things are readily available to us now. I'm grateful for that opportunity, actually, because we used to have a brick and mortar in order to reach people. But now they can just call, they can go on to Zoom, and we can reach them right where they're at. It's really, truly a blessing.
Yes, that is. That people, it is more accessible for people But, still there's a matter of finding that right fit, I guess, for you, the right
Yes.
person. Just don't, I don't know if you just call 411 or, looking to, look out there, Google somebody and you close your eyes and you pick one. But, how do you really identify the person who's kind of, I guess it's just a matter of anything else, the one that feels right to you.
Yes. And you also want to, keep some things in mind. How long is their experience and what type of person are they professionally? Are they easily accessible? Do they have 100 clients already? So when you sit down in a chair, the first 20 minutes is just setting up your next appointment, and then you get 10 minutes to tell them what's going on with you. And also look inside of yourself. We all know what we enjoy and what gives us peace. For some of us, it's fishing and rock climbing. For me, it's the behavior of movement and dance. I'm a house head. I heal on the dance floor. Some people heal when they're rock climbing. Some people heal when they're drawing or writing or performing art or music. Some people heal through sound bowls. There's just under 20 different forms of alternative, expressive, and clinical therapies that all work extremely well. They actually uncover hidden trauma. Clinical therapy is just the beginning of it. I mean, we've gotten so far past that now. So people need to try, to branch out a little bit and see what's out there.
I love that you, and where you're going is to offer so many different ways that people can tap into, with those various modalities that they can, that could be something that really resonates with them. So
absolutely. A lot of the time, well, not a lot of the time, all of the time, trauma not only attacks us emotionally and physically, but it's also spiritual in nature. If you don't attach your spirit to the change that you're seeking, you're liable to go over it over and over and over and over again. So a lot of our maladies are spiritual in nature. And when I dance, my spirit is free. For some people, when they play, their spirit is free. For some people, in a sand tray, they can make their own world and their spirit is free. When you engage the true you, your spirit, that's when real healing takes place.
I love it. I love that, Riki. I think dancing would be one of mine as well. It definitely brings me beyond the pain. It just it gives me joy, Yes. And so I can certainly appreciate you, you referencing that. But, I guess the next question is in regards to the reaction to trauma being a surprise and people just recognizing the signs.
Well, one of the signs will be that you shut down and you're not available for people to talk to. Another sign will be that you always find yourself busy, so busy that you don't take time to think about what's going on with you, that you're always changing the subject in your head. Everything is transient and it's moving around so very quickly, it's hard for you to catch up. It can show up in the way that you eat. It can show up in the way that you sleep or not sleep. As we get older, a lot of the changes we go through become physical. When we become emotionally upset, it shows up physically for us. So it's very important to be aware of how you're moving physically. Trauma also takes place in a way, well, let me put it this way. When you go to a hospital and you see people that are in the bed or people that are nearly catatonic, one of the reasons that they are that way, the reason that they can't move is because trauma stays in our bodies until we process it. So once we process it out and we heal through it, then our movement comes back. It is so deep. There's so much stuff going on that's available to everyone. I just hope and pray that everyone takes the opportunity to find out all the different things that are available. Because if you're doing what you love, you don't even realize therapy is taking place.
I know that's right. You've given such value and so many gems today and just great understanding. Tell us a little bit more about Powerhouse of Expressions and how you serve.
Okay, well, Friends of Powerhouse of Expression is a nonprofit and we're available at friendsofpowerhouse.com. We're pulling together so many different things. And our first thing is going to be the Mental Wellness Expo, which is July 30th. And we'll have another one in August. We'll have 3 practitioners, an expert in prana, an expert in mindfulness, and an expert in energy work through movement. Oh, I can't wait for that one. That's one of my favorites. And we have an excellent host. I'm really looking forward to bringing that to everyone. Now, you do have to buy tickets, but it's well worth it. The expo will be 3 hours long. All the answers you need.
Wow, Riki. That's phenomenal. So I'll make sure that we post your details about the event on this broadcast, of course. And anything else that you have coming up, we definitely want to put into our, I always run stories and as I support other CEOs. And so I will always post whatever it is you have coming up as well. So just let me know.
Thank you.
What a great opportunity for people. And this is online, right?
Yes, it will be virtual. It'll be on Zoom.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much. This is such a wonderful thing you're doing today. And you look excellent. You are fabulous as always. Love and light, my sister.
Thank you so very much. With people like you in my corner, I can't lose. I can't lose with people like you in my corner, and I really appreciate you as well. So,
thank you for supporting me. We have to stick together.
Yes. And where are you located? Where in the world is your, I know you talked about a mobile bus that you guys are looking
a mobile truck
and go into the community and things of that nature. Please tell me where you're located.
We are in Staten Island, New York.
Okay.
For now. We will be branching out and expanding.
And do you do any live events, or is everything virtual at this time? Because I know that you did
right now. Our last live event was so amazing. We did a book drive, Black books for Black children, for Black history, and these were child authors that had these books. Oh my goodness, the children were so engaged. They read their book to the kids, and then they did a Q&A. It was amazing. And all the kids picked up books. It was really, really nice. And, I'm still in a startup status. That was my first event, but it was so successful. I also managed to do some healing circles for the elderly in my community, and they really loved it. But then we ran out of space, and we weren't able to use that space anymore. So we'll find something else. We'll find another way to bring those services. Our mobile truck will be able to deal with HIV, crisis intervention, harm reduction, Narcan for overdoses, addicts, all kinds of things will be available through that truck. And we'll be in a different neighborhood every day, 5 days a week. So we're looking forward to that as well. We're trying to raise the money for that. Yes.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter if you're in Staten Island, New York. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you're interested in collaborating and supporting and sponsoring things that Riki and Friends of Powerhouse of Expressions has going on as they serve the community. This woman is someone who truly wants to serve the community and help in this mental awareness, this mental health issue. This is an issue that is one that is prevalent, and I talked a little bit earlier. In fact, it's not just in our lives. It's in the world. I mean, it's the history, especially in the United States. It is something that we've got to have more and more conversations, but we got to go beyond the conversation, because what happens next? Action has got to take action. So I know that you're always open to sponsors and things as a nonprofit.
Yes, I am.
You're a nonprofit, right?
Yes, we are. And so they can find us and make donations at friendsofpowerhouse.com.
Excellent. I'm super excited about that. And anyone, please, if you want to do good, work with people who are doing good. And so for that, I do thank you, Riki, for everything that you do. And I'm gonna hold on. Let's see if my next guest is logging on, should be logging on here in just one moment. Let me just give him that quick notification.
Thank you so much, Pamela. Thank you everyone for tuning in.
Yes.
Thank you for supporting us. I look forward to, working with you in the future and continuing.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you again. Thank you again. All right, Riki, I will let you go. I appreciate you, darling. And, be well and just continued success to you and everything that you do. This is phenomenal. I think you're phenomenal, as I always tell you. So yes, thank you again.
Thank you. Thanks again. So long, everyone.
Darling. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So I am waiting on my next guest. I'm waiting. Let's see. It says log on now. And he says, waiting. No, can you log on? I'm sorry, everybody. I wish I could pause this, but I don't think I can. Can you log on? All right, so in the meantime, while he is logging on, BCA is Business Concepts Accelerated. At the end of this broadcast, I do plan to share a little bit about what we have going on and what we have coming up that I want you to know about, and so until then, it may be the matter that I'm gonna, okay, so it's he has the wrong link, maybe. Let me give him another link, and I apologize, guys. Let me see. Go back and try to find the right link. Okay. My apologies. I'm gonna have to edit this part. Oh, let's see here. Okay. All right. Let me go back and grab the link. Here we go. Copy that. Okay. And this is hard when you got somebody looking at you and you're like, okay, this takes a moment to do. Well, and Melikia, just making sure everybody has a link, correct link. But you know what the thing is that I don't let things stress me out. I cannot do that. Can't let things stress you out. This is the moment I could be, and I am a little bit sweating, but it's hot. But I do not let my internal temperature rise when I'm faced with unexpected things that are not going right, because you know what? Ish happens. It happens, and there's nothing that you can do about that, because that's just life. And it's just in a matter of how we deal with things is what matters here. And there he is. Coach Will, hi.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine, sir. I apologize for that. I know I was having some technical difficulties at the beginning. I sent a different platform link, and then this one worked. So we're back on Zoom. So thank you again for joining. All right. Well, please, if you would introduce yourself, I'm going to allow you that time, and then we'll talk and definitely jump in a little bit more about what it is you do and how you serve. But introduce yourself if you would, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Will Baptiste, and I am your favorite brother from another mother, aka the Haitian Sensation. Coming to you live always from Montreal, Quebec, where we eat pain for breakfast. This is a plum pleasant pleasure for me to be talking to you and to all of you that are listening, either now, live or on replay. This month is a very special month to me, and you're gonna understand why. So what I do is I empower men, everyone, but mostly men, black and brown men. I empower them to rise mentally, physically, and financially. We're gonna get into all that. So you're gonna have a great show, and I can't wait to really dive into this great conversation we're gonna have.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, I love this. I love that we're talking about Black men because there's a special it starts in childhood, with the Black man and really even far beyond that. But definitely, as we raise our young Black men, who may either be raised by mothers or raised, and not, many times getting everything they need from adolescence to adulthood. And and then there's many cases where they do. It's just there's a fraction that is overwhelmingly where they do not. And so I'm really happy to be talking about this. So again, focus is on adolescents and adult men and their mental acuity. And so before we tap into their true potential to find their purpose, what do you think the state of Black and brown males, young to old, is overall today?
Scarcity, fearful, forgotten, ignored. It's a lot of things, marginalized, but yet we still have to show up. And I think that the problem is that we were not raised to be strong. We were raised to be tough. And there's a real distinction between strong and being tough. Tough meaning you can't cry. Tough meaning you cannot be vulnerable. Tough meaning you can't open up and talk about your emotion. And if we don't do something right now, and I do understand, especially in my generation, I'm helping men to heal, but I don't want to help the next generation to heal. I want to bridge that gap to a point where we are not being reactive, but we are being proactive.
Right.
And that's got to start now, yesterday, because I believe if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Then if it's not now, when is going to happen? This is an alarm that is being rung right now, and we need to pay attention. This is a real pandemic. And I think we need to do something before it gets too bad.
I agree with you. This is an alarm. And so that's why this conversation is so important. But I'd like to go even further, if we're being honest, then we have talked about the realities of not only being Black and brown skinned in America, but the implied fear of others to intentionally create unrest by targeting our men. Do you find this additional noise, I call it noise, or stressors of being a Black man in America, and just to try to accomplish your goals to reaching your best potential? How much extra is that?
Oh, it is extra because, again, we have been labeled falsely what a man should and shouldn't be, what a man should and shouldn't do, and how we're supposed to. So from that point, as a man, it's already stressing, but we have society that are adding more to that, to the point where now we have to suppress all this emotion inside of us. So what ended up happening is we ended up lashing out, because it's like a bottle that's been closed, and there's a pressure that's about to come out. And once that pressure is released, then it can do a lot of damage. And that damage can have a long lasting effect, not only in the immediate family, but also generation to come. Because, often we talk about generational wealth, but rarely we talk about generational curse and generational trauma. So we need to be the cycle breaker. We need to be the disruptor. We need to be the one to say, enough is enough. We need to go ahead, because I do believe by ourselves, we can make a difference, but together we can make a change.
Yes, I love that. There's been times, of course, in our history where Black people, the Black culture came together, not only the Black culture, but also, other cultures joined in with Black people in our plight. And it is a plight in America, especially. And then it seemed to go like be forgotten. Like what happened? What happened to that energy? So you're so right. There's sound the alarm, but it also is a time where we've got to make this change. And there has to be something unified. It needs to start with us. We have to figure this out.
Let me add something more. We also have to take accountability. Let's start there. Before we go out and try to change the world, what about changing those that means the world to us? No, we live in a digital age now, and social media. Social media is everything but social. So when we have all this noise, everything that's going on, supposedly connected to the world while we're being disconnected to the people that means the world to us.
Right.
We need to start taking accountability. We need to stop waiting for someone to come save us. We need to stop waiting for somebody to start doing for us. We need to start doing for ourselves. So we have to start in our own community and not waiting on somebody else, because we've been waiting for what, 400 years? And we're going to be waiting for another 400 years if we don't take if we don't take the baton and do something about it.
I agree. I just don't know what it's going to take for us to come together. I'd love to see a boardroom table where I have all social, economic levels of Black people sitting at the same table, the rich, the poor, and everybody having a conversation. I mean, we've got to have conversations. I don't know what it takes. It took an event, and I know I'm going off our topics here, but it took an event for, there to be some unified, cohesiveness. And then again, 5 minutes later, it's, where did it go? And we're still disenfranchised. We're still not, coming together. We're still fighting each other and not supporting one another. And then, I just don't know what it's going to take for us to get there.
Here's the thing. I think we are motivated. We are motivated people. But may I submit to you that motivation is only about less than 1% of anything that ever happened. We are missing two ingredients, and that is discipline and consistency. And that's what's happening. Whenever something happens, we are motivated. We are going out. We are, marching in. We are, doing it. Then it died down. So we are lack of discipline and consistency. Once we start, getting some more of that, then that's when we're going to make some real progress.
Yes. I would agree with that. I've had that conversation before, and I do think that is very, very accurate, very true. So I know that, I have a 24-year-old son, so I'm acutely aware, that there's parents out there of these young adult males. And, because I've heard other parents tell me, how they feel about their young men, and really the insight that they have and just trying to figure themselves out. Where do they fit in this world? And so it's like they're kind of in a quandary trying to figure things out. And it's not just one, it's a lot of young Black men. So do you see that, or have you heard, that trend of something going? I'm like, what is going on?
Oh yeah, and not only that I've heard it, but I've lived it. And I've had so many reasons to say, well, because I didn't have this, and because I didn't have that. At some point, a lot of things that had happened to me were not my fault, but at some point I have to take responsibility, right? And a lot of times we're trying to look for a purpose. We're trying to figure out what our purpose is. So what's the point of trying to find out what our purpose is if we don't know who we are? Because our purpose is already within us. So it's like somebody looking for the outside world to fulfill something in the outside to fulfill them. They're looking for fulfillment either in love or either in material. They're looking for validation. They're looking for love. They're looking for respect. They're looking for all kinds of things. But the one place they need to look in is inward. So if we want to find our purpose, which is the very essence of the reason why we were born, then we have to start looking inward, see exactly what we're not seeing. Because as I've told my clients many, many times, I say, I'm not here to give you more tools. I'm simply here to identify the tools that you have and making sure that you're using the right tool for the right situation.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that we have with the young people is that they have a lot of tools, but they are being misused. So therefore they think, okay, this tool is not working. I'm going to throw it away. I'm going to look for different tools. But different tools is not going to solve the problem. You need somebody that's going to help you to say, those are the tools that you have in your toolbox. Let me help you using the right tool. Because I could be a great football player, but if my position is to play fullback and I'm trying to play quarterback, I could be a great player, but I'm not gonna be able to be efficient because I'm not working on my, I'm not being at the right position. So it's what we see. We are not using the right tool that we have, but we're trying to get more tools into the toolbox.
Not using the right tools. So, that fogginess that, again, that they feel in their head, it's about that story that they keep replaying. I know you said, you got to look inward, deeper, I guess, inward, to understand that you have the ability to change it. You have the ability, it's within you to change, but sometimes they get stuck, They
get stuck. You're absolutely right. They get stuck because the environment, because we are the product of our environment, right? So until you get, that's why my company called Will to Rise, until you can find the will, first you got to find the will and then you have to rise. But how are you going to find the will if you are in your circle? And I always tell people, if your circle does not inspire you, you do not have a circle, you have a cage. But you got to get out. You got to get out of that circle for you to have a 2020 vision, to be able to say, oh, there's more to this world than what I've been accustomed to, that I've been conditioned to. We have a conditional problem. And it's time for us to break that and see and look, our peripherals. There are much more out there than what we can see, but we have to go out there and take that leap of faith.
Yes. Well, talk a little bit more about your coaching services. I know that you help men to work through whatever's holding them back, and share a little bit about your methodology of extending your hand to another prideful man to grab a hold of your hand and your offer, and what he needs to realize to be vulnerable so that you can help him get to the breakthroughs. Like, how does that work?
Absolutely. As I've been through my own journey and I understand what's holding them back, understand why they've been stuck, and it's all not their fault, to play the devil's advocate. But at some point, when are we going to wake up and realize that if we keep doing the same thing we've been doing, we're going to keep getting the same result, right? So we have to find the courage and say, okay, I know there's help out there. How can I reach out? So rather than me waiting for them and I'm going to them, I'm reaching my hands out, because they don't know somebody's looking for them, because they've been conditioned. So it's my job as a professional to say, hey, there are help out there. Now, not only that I'm gonna, extend my hands, but I also need to be a great listener and not to beat them down, right? And not to tell them to try harder. They've been trying hard. I need them to try something different, not harder.
Yes.
You understand? I need them to know that, hey, I've been where you are. I've been the child that was molested. I've been the child that was abused sexually. I've been the young man that was behind bars. I've been the adult man that's been to divorces, not one, but two. I've been the one that's been in the business failed. But guess what? As a phoenix, I keep rising. And the fact that I can't find my own will to rise, I'm extending my hand to let you know you can find your own will to rise. Just help me help you. Yes. And together we can do it. And that's my mission. That's my legacy. And I hope they are listening, and to let them know that they are not alone, to let them know they don't have to suffer in silence. Know that there are people out there that are willing and genuinely want to connect and to want to listen to them. And that's what we have to do.
Love it. Thank you. That's powerful. And I hope that someone does, resonate with that and does reach out. So as we, move towards wrapping up a little bit, tell us about your book, Will to Rise, and what's next for you, your brand, and how you serve.
Absolutely. Will to Rise, actually, pun intended, was founded based on my own journey. Mm-hmm. And little did I know that I had a story. I didn't even know that I had a story, let alone had a story that needs to be told that people will connect with. And part of my therapy was to start speaking. And mm-hmm. as I speak my truth and start being vulnerable, and I realized that there are the number of men that have been molested, the number of men that have been sexually abused, the number of men that have been domestically violent, mm-hmm. the number is staggering. I say, if I can be the poster child, if I can be the sacrificial lamb to take that upon myself and to say, here I am vulnerable, I'm here, I'm one of you. So that's how the book was found. So right now we are in the editing process. So I'm going to be, the book should be coming out in the fall. So I'm going to be doing a tour right here in Canada, United States, and UK. People are going to be able to reach out to me, so they can actually reach out to me. They can actually Google me at meetwilltorise.com, and they have all my information. And I'm also going to be starting a podcast, and also I'm on the radio. So I'm pretty much everywhere. And also, if anybody wants to collaborate with me, I'm a speaker as well, not just only an author. I'm a speaker, and I speak on all these three areas. Mental, physical, and financial. So hey, they get 3 for 1. So if someone to speak on those areas, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to connect with people and share and add value to them.
I love it. I love it. Such a value you are. And so thank you for all of that you're doing. This is an area where we need more conversation, just, focused on Black men. And give them that will to rise, to rise. And I hope that they take advantage of that and of the messaging that you have to pour in them. So thank you again for being here. And anything else that, before we get out, I just want to give you one more opportunity to share anything else that you'd like before we run.
I just want to thank you, Pamela, for hosting me. It's been a great adventure. It's been a great, opportunity for me to speak to you, but also to speak to your audience. Mm-hmm. So I hope again, I'll be back again for another powerful message. And I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm walking in my calling. This is my assignment. So this has been a great journey, and I hope to continue to inspire people throughout the world.
Thank you. Well, you have the voice to do it, and the history that follows it up. And so with that, people should be able to connect, and really just dive in and be vulnerable. Just allow yourself to be vulnerable. And I think with that, if they allow that, men are so prideful. They're prideful, and they don't want to sometimes allow another to see or to, I don't know if it's equating it with weakness or what it is, but, Will to Rise is a powerful title. And so anything I can do, of course, in regards to supporting that as well, please let us know and give me your announcements so I can run them in my stories and things of that nature. And I appreciate you so much. So Melikia should be signing on in just one moment. And again, I thank you for joining me this evening, Will.
Thank you. Have a good night. Good evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And all of Will's information will be in our description section of this broadcast as well. So be sure to check him out. That is something that is going to be good that he is coming out with in the fall. Will to Rise, this new book, talking to our Black men, Black and brown men. All right, so I am waiting on my third guest now to log in, and I've got the notification that they're coming. I got the notification that they are coming. So I hope that is in just one moment. All right, there we go. I love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much. Melikia, hello, my dear.
Hello, how are you?
I am fine. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here with me this evening. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here, Miss Family. Looking beautiful.
Ah, thank you. Thank you so much. You as well. You as well.
Thank you.
All right. So if you would just introduce yourself to our listening audience and let them know who you are.
Hi. Awesome. Thank you. And I can't wait to watch this in entirety because I know you guys have been having a good conversation. So I'm overly curious. I am Melikia Courtney, and in this capacity, because Pamela and I work together in other ways as well, but for tonight, the hat that I'm putting on is our mental health conversation. My professional background, law enforcement, behavioral health modifications. I had a specialized unit, 9 to 12-year-olds, worked with 2 to 17-year-olds, and of course, in adult life, as a domestic violence solutions awareness advocate over 20 years in. And when I tell you I've been saying some things, when I tell you I've been through some things, some things, and God is still God, and I am still here, and I am still smiling. So let's get into the conversation. You'll learn more.
Yes, to still be smiling through it all is, that is just a blessing all in itself, as we know. But, you had to make it through it. And there's people out there I know who are still there. They're still stuck. They're still, they don't see a way. And that's what we're talking about today. But I wanted to start with a little bit of brightness. And looking in regards to some of the things you post and things that you're speaking about, I know that you talked about mastering moments, mastering life. And we're going to get into all of the conversation. We're going to get into what you do, how you serve. But I really wanted to chat a little bit in regards to mastering the moments, mastering life. And if you will share the principles, that one could look towards in mastering this gift from God called life.
Bomb question, because it is the questions that kind of shape our focus, right? It is the questions that help us decide which glasses we're going to put on and lens we're going to look through and see life. So that is a life hack. That's number one principle. Understand your perspective. And if you want to put it in something that's more common that folks know yourself.
Know yourself.
Seriously, that is the strongest principle that I can offer you. It is the foundation, because in knowing yourself, you begin to learn how to love you, right? Because you cannot love you until you are knowing and accepting who you are. So that would be the first principle that I share. I would also share, he who walks with the wise will be wise, but he who walks with fools will be harmed. So
that's why I hang with you.
Listen, it matters who you hang around. And some folks, they have you say things like birds of a feather flock together and things like that, but that doesn't give you a full understanding of what you're potentially doing to yourself in your life. If you're walking with wise people, and even if you are in a state of foolishness, or even if you're in a state of ignorance where you're having to learn, you're safer than walking with folks are straight up fools and will get you off into some stuff that is not going to allow you to get life back. So I will only offer you those principles for now, because I don't want to overwhelm the mind. And that's a great place to start. I teach that in my Permission to You university, so you can learn more later.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I agree. Good principles to start. So talking and thinking deep-rooted depression, I want to jump into some different conversation here, being that it is mental awareness, month and awareness, what are we doing with this awareness. I want people who are really kind of in that deep-rooted depressive status, and they find themselves pondering and they really just can't escape. So I guess my question is, does someone who do they have to hit rock bottom before that deep-rooted trauma finds itself to with a sense of being able to break through?
Okay. You're bringing the great questions out today. So I'm giggling because the helicopter goes past. The moment you say deep-rooted depression, which is such a serious thing, and people coming. What I will say is you better laugh. You better laugh. The short answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
No one has to hit rock bottom before they make a decision to change their mindset, change their physiology, change their surroundings, change their mental narratives, mental food, and how they engage life in people. Those are your keys. You run back through that list. That is how you walk out of the depression. Just gave it to you for free. But what tends to happen, Pamela, when people have touched that deep-rooted depression, there are some serious traumas going on, right?
Right.
You have, let's speak myself and clients, right? You have things like ex-husband who tried to kill me. Raise your hand, got one of those. Me. Okay, raise your hand, been raped. Me. Raise your hand, dealt with molestation. Me. Okay, so when you have those heavier traumas, almost died for peeing while Black. Me. Those are the things that they're heavy. They are weighted things. A lot of times in our space for business viability, you hear me say things like the vibration, the energy. Okay, all of those things are under attack, love. Your joy is under attack, your peace is under attack, you love are under attack because, and I'm not sure how spiritual this platform is, but listen, I'm here, so I'm gonna tell you what it is. Christ has made it clear. You have an enemy who wants to kill, destroy, steal from you, and about their business every day, like the best entrepreneur on the planet. That team is on their grind. So it's for real, like no chill, no pause. You better know it. Especially if you have a work in you, a purpose in you, you better know something's gonna be coming after you. And if you are living a life that hasn't offered you any challenges, then I'm going to dare say you're missing something, because that's what life is. Life is those challenges that come to rock you and knock you, firm you up, create you, and push what you're hiding in you out. So for those people who are dealing with depression, it is, and this is not to be hurtful, it is their narrative. It is their decision making. The event happened. I take nothing away from it. Y'all get it. I've been through hell and back a few times. So I am not taking anything away from the event. The event happened, but guess what it's not doing right now? Happening right now. But now if I am not diligent, vigilant, and doing my work and working out the principles that I know, enacting that, into life, like kneading it into life like bread, then I understand, let me slip for a second into the past and get stuck in that story. Let me rush into the future and get stuck in that story. Same outcome. Anxiety, depression, frustration. So for those people who are deep-rooted in depression, you do not have to hit rock bottom. It is a choice. It is a choice.
It is a choice. Wow. That's so well said. And, and I hope that people don't have to hit rock bottom to come up out of it, but like you said, it's about that story, I guess, that they're playing in their head. It is, how do you change the narrative? And so in seeking help for that, is there, best practices, I guess, in regards to, I guess the bottom line is just taking the initiative to get help, but there is I don't know how people really find the right fit other than do what feels good to you,
Story time. Story time looks like this. I believe in mental health therapists, counselors, and such like this. When I had my first counselor, y'all, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew help Help me, Jesus.
Yes, yes.
And my first therapist, beautiful human,
Mm-hmm.
young, not a parent,
Mm-hmm.
missing some melanin. And their approach, just not relatable, not applicable. And it is no shade to those folks who are in that vein. But again, this goes back to knowing yourself. This goes back to the principles of surrounding yourself around wise people.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that for Melikia, that professional relationship was not producing what it need to. And then that person's understanding and upbringing offered them different lenses that I did not have, right? And they could not relate to the lenses that I was offering. So it is important that you take time to understand the personality of your therapist. Shop around. We shop for purses and our shoes. You know, we take our time for our clothes and our jewelry and our makeup. Take some time in there, and I'll speak to the men too. You take some time for your shoes. You take some time for your cologne. You take some time for the lady you choose. You know what I mean? So in the same way, a good therapist, you want to make sure they're good, classified by certifications. You know, you want someone who has been in the trenches, who has the experience, who has some professional experience and some documentation. Those things are amazing. So that's what I would offer as far as when you're looking for. I'm so sorry. One second.
No worries. Yes. I think that's good. That's a good follow through in regards to just finding someone that can relate to what it is you have gone through. And, they may have some battle wounds themselves, so they can help but with understanding and love,
So your personality, the credentials, and then to what I will also offer, there are some of us who have touched the traditional therapy and not found what we were looking for. I would say two things. One, keep looking. Your person who will be able to help you is there. Sometimes you just gotta get through the weeds to find them. Uncle Google, Auntie YouTube, and great referrals. Talk to the people around you, because chances are someone had a great therapist, right? Also, I am the non-traditional coach. I am the non-traditional listener who is the heartpreneur, who is blah, 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 right? So you can find your tribe, so to speak. You can find your leader, you can find your listener, and you can find your guide. So don't get weary in well doing. To say it simply, don't get weary in doing it for yourself, because a lot of times we will fight so hard for everybody else, right? Oh man, we will go in to people we love, but when it comes to us, we don't fight as hard. Why? Why not you, right? So that's what I would offer for that.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, we may have touched on this already. My next question kind of deals in regards to, how does one break through, the pains of the past? But I think that you've already kind of touched on that a little bit. I don't know if there's anything more you'd like to talk about there, just how they break through, the pains of the past.
I will offer something. One, we did touch on it, you're quite right. We talked about when you're not in your present, when you're in your past, or when you're in your future, and the frustration that kind of keeps you company when you pull that trigger. But I would say that get to know your story. Sometimes we're quick to try to close our story down. Like something comes to mind, oh man, we want to shut it down fast. Don't make that mistake, right? We don't want to live in our story, but God affords you those opportunities to come back and hear your story. It's playing in your mind, something triggers you. Okay, this is coming up to be released. It's not coming up to keep you company or torture you, though when you shove it back down and it comes back up and you're playing the up and down seesaw, it feels like torture, absolutely. But it is offering you the opportunity to release. So understand your past from that light. Give it space and room to breathe and let it leave. If leaving means you're sitting down to write it down, during your journaling, do it. If leaving means that you sit there and you talk to the wall in front of you and you say everything you need to say to that wall, whatever it is that you have figured out, that because you have that authority over yourself, you have that power. We are each individual and individually creative, right? So you can create your own process. You do not have to use my process or anyone else's process. The God in you, sit with the God in you and create that process. And if you find that you are stuck and you cannot, then you connect with a person like me or Pamela or Riki or Will, and then we help you build your process out. And I will not stamp and imprint my process. You know what I mean? I'm not going to force that down on you. What I will say is I will help you draw out your own. You can definitely borrow mine, but I bet you money yours is inside waiting on you. And that's how I would answer that question, Pamela.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I love that. I love, you know, the explanation and the reality, you know, that does keep coming up, and then you press it back down and then it comes up, you know, and so you give it room, and you know, there's a process in taking back your power and that feeling of self-empowerment. And I know that you offer your programs, and I'd love you to share a little bit, not necessarily, you know, what it is that, you know, that's, you know, we're trying to let people know that there is a place that they can go and they can experience going through that process of what it takes to get to the other side. Would you share a little bit in regards to the sanctuary and things that you do there?
Sure. Simplest way I would say is when I mentioned the almost dying for being while Black, me, raise your hand. That kind of was the baseline of, and it's the truth. It's so many people's story. It's sad, but it is the truth, right? From that experience, I recognize the need, right? And that's kind of how life goes. You recognize the need, and if you are a doer, you work to fill that need. Yes. Get God up, like, listen, I need a response. I need a response that's going to be positive, because I see that women in leadership consistently go through heavy things, and we do not have a sisterhood, a community to come and take care of the healers, the leaders, the moms, you know, the women who are holding down the community, like, for real. So I created it, and it's called Sanctuary Experience, and we do online virtual events, whether it's master classes or workshops. We do 3-day in-person lives, which is a complete immersion. You can check out my Facebook. We have our highlights from the last one. That's April 8th through 10th that just happened. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, it was going down. It was amazing. God showed up, and not only showed up, hung out for like 3 days. And every person that was there, and it was a testament to who God is, literally said, this was an experience. This was not a conference. This was an experience. I had an encounter with God. Every person, I had an encounter with God. Wow. Okay, so that is priceless. You know, we have a price tag on it, of course, but literally the funds that we have go into taking care of the folks that show up. And then we created, I had some men ask me, what about us? So from that conversation, XPM was born. Now we've had a few virtual events for the men. We're working on it in person. Some of the men are who asked for it are not acting shy, like they don't need it. Well, don't be scared. If you know you need it, you know you need that God encounter. And guess what? The first thing is self-encounter. That's the first thing we focus on, self-encounter. Because you didn't encounter you. And then that way we can help you know you better, love you better, and tend to the things. Now I deal with energy, vibration, and healing, and I am a monster when it comes to praise and worship. It is an experience. It is not one of those, it's not your mama's conference. Let's say it like that. It's not your mama's conference. You come in there to do some work and have some fun. And then when I tell you we eat, we ate good, we hit the beach, we make, but it was amazing. I have a great partner, Dallas Cohen, for the Florida area, and I am looking for coaches across the nation who wants to partner with MELIKIA and learn the sanctuary model and create sanctuary for not only yourself, but the women around you or the men around you. This is how we come up as a people. This is how we improve our community. Community, build one.
Yes.
Take care of each other. That's how this works. That's the only way it works. So, and in the process of my healing, literally, God gave me sanctuary, and I gave it to y'all. So this is what I do between the masterminds, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Clubhouse, 1 p.m. Eastern, and then the in-person events, the classes and such. This is this is me responding to the need. Fair enough?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Right.
it is. So
Sanctuary.
people can come, Clubhouse, they can come on Clubhouse, excuse me, and they can get a taste of what the sanctuary experience is, I guess, or is that the people that are already members of the club or the coalition, it's just for anybody can come?
So with the sanctuary experience on Clubhouse, that's just an extension. It's an extension of who I am and what I do. That is a master key mindset.
Okay.
Literally, I deal with mindsets, heart set, how's your heart, how's your mind? What are your updates? We set goals and measurable goals. And then I am the harasser, the accountability partner to say, hey, listen, this is what you said you want to do. Okay, pumpkin? So then this is what we're going to do. Or you're going to have to really give yourself some be accountable to yourself and say, listen, I know I said I wanted to do this, but maybe it's not time for that. Let me do this. But this is community that I support and love and help on Clubhouse, again, for the free.
Yeah.
But when you come into the master spaces, there's a tag called thereboundcoach.com/sanctuary. thereboundcoach.com/sanctuary. You can see what's coming up next for the women XPM, for the XPM, the men's sanctuary. Reach out to me directly. And Pam, I'm not sure if you run banners or such for, but this is live, so I'll just say it, 321-443-2495. You can text sanctuary XPM for the men or XP for the women. Yes, we have a couples version coming. Yes, we have a youth one coming too. I'm excited about that youth one. That's gonna be awesome. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
Yes.
Can't wait.
I love that you're doing couples. I love that you're doing the youth. Is that 9 to 12 or how? Because I know that you mentioned that earlier.
We're gonna do young adults. We're starting at 18 because they're gonna, for the in-person at least, it will be 18 and above because they need to be able to move around and experience and speak their story without any issue. We're also thinking that possibly we're going to do one with parent and child. So that's being fleshed out. We will see how that goes with the younger ones, because I want to get to them too. It just makes more sense that they have tools in place so they don't have to overcome what we had to overcome. They already have a way.
Yes.
So this is what we're working on now, and I have beautiful people around me. Definitely never in the room screaming, I'm the smartest person here, not me. Because if I find myself in a room where I'm the smartest person, then it's time for me to go. Okay. Right. So I follow the leader very well. Yes, I do. And then I lead very well.
Yes. I think I saw it maybe a month ago where I saw something on the news where they said they were going to start testing, younger children for their mental acuity. And I said, man, it's about freaking time they do that. So, I haven't heard it ever again. So I don't know if it ever, materialized or manifested, into our systems, but I doubt that it did. So I just think, as we look to kids, figure out what you want to do in life. And, the sooner you know that or feel it in your heart and know your passion, the younger, the better, because then you're headed on that trajectory. But we don't talk about the mental of these youth and where they are and how do we clean that up so that they're not on that trajectory for, into adulthood. So I'm so, thankful to you for even addressing that age group and catching them young, just thankful to you.
I'm grateful. And it's I always had a passion for the children. Like it just and then I know a lot of the traumas that I went through as a child.
Yes.
So when I got into the space of behavioral health, it was like sitting among friends. I understood. We can have a conversation freely, no judgment. And I think that I know several people who are creating spaces to take care of their children. And you mentioned acuity, that ability to respond quickly, to bounce back, to be resilient, the agility of it all. The babies need that conversation, and hopefully people are drawing conclusion in that if you see the adult running around with it, chances are it started when they were a kid, So that's why I think it's so important just to get in the way of that growth, you know, of that negative growth, and offer them something more positive.
Yeah.
So I'm about my business, Miss Pamela.
Yes, you are. You are.
It's a beautiful
All
thing.
right. Well, as we wrap up, I'd love to, anything more you'd like to share? I'm definitely going to add all of your contact information to this broadcast. I'm going to, you know, take it and put a thumbnail on top and add everybody's information for sure. But anything else you'd like to share with the audience in regards to anything else you have coming up? You have got to have written 5 books by now, because you're such a wealth of just information and beauty and love. And because you are a heartpreneur that gives from the heart, you work with me in regards to my plight in trying to help Black and Brown founders close that gap of the lack of funding that there is, that we see for allocated towards those type of businesses. So we want to get them ready, and we want to just enable them to have this opportunity to meet with investors. And you are my definite support and expert resource in that area as well. I'm so thankful to you for all you do. But anything else you'd like to share?
I would like to share. Thank you.
Thank you.
And having me on. Thank you for your beautiful words and your kindness. And you are a master at creating great spaces to get the message out.
Thank you.
So, like I shared earlier today, on Tuesdays at 11 Eastern time, Scott Harrell, who's a Harrell Consulting Group, yourself and I, and in your room, mind you, you've invited us to come panel and help people exactly do what you said. Is your business viable? And I am the person to poke the finger in the hole and go, do you care about this business? Do you really love it? You know?
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, stop playing. Because I've seen too many people get to the edges of life and look back with regret. Like, I never really loved that. I just did it. You know, I needed something. So that was something that showed up, and God hit me with a sentence one time when I was fussing. He said, you never did what you loved. You just loved what you did. I was like, oh. So it's something when you get honest, and that's it. And truly, when I teach permission to you, that is really the first step. Get honest, get honest, and working with people through their fear. You could live your whole life in fear. It's an option. You could live your whole life working a business or a job that you really hate, that truly sucks the life out of you. It's an option. Or you can live with some passion and some joy in your life. You could smile. You can be happy. It's an option. So understanding that you do have options, I think that's the key to triggers. That's the key to mental health breakdowns. People get to the point where they feel like they have no option. That is a lie from the pit of hell. You have an option. You're breathing. And my very first exercises, Miss Pamela, when I was coming out of the whole issues with the ex-husband and that part, it was something as simple as this: God and I are one. That's what I could do. It was a finger exercise, y'all, because that's what I could do. Went from there to taking out these thoughts, setting them on fire mentally, letting them burn, and rewriting something later. About a year of burning them, and a year later, learning that I could rewrite it. Holy Spirit, like, hey, you can rewrite that thought. I can? Well, let's go. And there is a process that I take people through to help them get back to life. If you know that you need to get back to life, if you are challenged, if you are overwhelmed, if you are struggling literally to death, please do not do it alone. Reach out. Just makes sense. You had Riki speak earlier, you had Will speak, and then I'm speaking to you. Miss Pamela brought it to you. Do not be the person that sits in the corner and suffers alone. Do not be the person that makes good company for your misery. Misery love company.
Yes, it
doesn't have to be you though. So those things I would offer with a smile. You can do better. It's okay. You are loved. God is watching. You are not forgotten. Thank you, Ms. Pamela.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And, to connect with Melikia, she gave her number. It will be in our information here to text her. Which way do you want them to text again for the men and the women?
For the women, Sanctuary XP. XP is for the women. For the men, it's XPM, Sanctuary XPM. then I will know what you are texting me about and make sure that you are called, text, informed.
Excellent, excellent. All right. Well, I think we have served here in regards to this month, and what I really wanted to bring to the table during this month, and just the awareness of how we can shift, you know, this cage that is in our head, this noise, these things that really tear us down, and we just live in it. Stop living in it if we can. And there is a way. There is a way. There's a process, and there's a way. And I brought 3 great people on here tonight who I wholeheartedly respect. And, you know, I do hope that people do, you know, reach out and really, you know, get some of these solutions and ways to get through whatever it is they're dealing with. So thank you again for being here. I appreciate it.
One thing that I forgot to mention.
Oh, yes.
I wrote a book called The Ladder, How to the House of Domestic.
And there somewhere. Yes.
We do so much. We do so much. The book is in soft launch. You are welcome to connect with me for that book. Listen, I take you through some very simple things that you can do. I offer you a ladder.
Okay.
Out of that mess. Text me the ladder, and I will make sure you get the link and make sure you get this book and begin to put it in practice. Don't get my book if you're not going to use it. If you're not going to read it, don't do it. You know what I mean? Save your money. But if you know you need help and you're ready and you're willing to take it, it's here. I literally share part of my story very strategically. None of that trauma dumping. You will not die from my story. You will live and not die, you know? So yeah. The ladder. 321-443-2495. I look forward to hearing from you and serving you, because it is what I love to do.
Yes, yes, and you do it so well. Transformation is a tall order, and you do serve. So it is not easy, but you gotta reach out. You gotta reach out and take that first step. So thank you again, Melikia. I appreciate you, dear sister, dear queen. Thank you.
Appreciate
All
it.
right, everyone. All right, so if you, again, I want to share again in regards to Business Concepts Accelerated, who we are, what we do, and how we serve. We love supporting CEOs in business, founders in business, and we are passionate to help to remove some of those barriers that you have in business. I believe that it surrounds marketing, branding, public relations, and strategy being capital. So if capital is one of those things that is a barrier in business, we host a room Melikia talked about on Clubhouse every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We're there. You can always find the information in my stories, which is on Instagram at BCA B2B Live. I'm BCA B2B Live on all platforms, but tap in. And, you know, we have some other things coming out for founders where we're gonna a new network platform. I'd love you to preview the perks and become a part of our beta team to experience as soon as it launches. So that's coming into to add your company to that so that you can be the first to preview the perks. I'd love you to go to bcab2blive.com and list your company there. So that way we can stay in touch and just reach out. I'm always here to help. And that's what I love to do. That gives me joy. So again, my name is Pamela McKinney. I'm CEO and founder of Business Concepts Accelerated, also known as BCA. And then of course we serve the B2B market. And then here we are, we're live. So BCA B2B Live. All right, thank you everybody for joining me this evening. I do thank my guests, Miss Riki Smith, Mr. Will Baptiste, and Miss Melikia Courtney. And this has been a beautiful program, and I hope that someone who's dealing with things that you don't know where to go, I hope that something in this broadcast resonated with you. I've given you great resources endorsed by BCA to reach out to, and hopefully you will do that, take that first step and get through those things that are holding you back, because it is your right, your purpose. It is your, it is up to you to make those changes so that you can live your best life. So that is what I wished for you. And I do hope to see you next time as our next podcast I'm excited about as well. It would be a couple of weeks right after the holiday. So do stay in touch, subscribe, and like and subscribe our channel as we continue to grow. And thank you so much again. So you all be well. Have a blessed evening. Take care.